Whoa.
Yeah, whatever,
Well,
Tony.
you got me.
We're not going to get me this time.
Yeah, we got
Well,
you.
Okay.
Way to go, Chad. There you go, brother.
I know. Welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast, episode 209, the largest podcast on the Firearms Radio Network, thanks to Tony. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else the gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Chad Wallace from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and all things firearms related. In this show, we'll be discussing the M1A and 6.5 Creedmoor. Okay, that's about it. I just had to put it in here. The Vudoo Ravage in 22 long rifle and the NXTGEN shotgun caddy. And tonight we have with us our regular co-host group of, I'm not sure what they are. Tony, Zane, and Rob.
This is a PG thing. You can't use the word you use off camera, okay?
Exactly. That's why I said whatever. So Rob, what'd you do in firearms this week?
Let's see. Saturday kind of sucked down here because of the nasty front that pushed through, and then Sunday I was dealing with familial issues because I have a father and some other family members that are recovering from bad things, so I've been helping them out.
Oh.
So unfortunately, over last week, I've done two things: jack squat.
Well, you know whatever works.
So,
you know, you got to take care of your family. So. Yeah. I guess we can go to Tony because, you know, I think he kind of was doing the same thing. So what'd you do, Tony? You're muted.
Yeah, for any of you guys that follow me on social network, you saw Sean said something about what's going on. Yeah, my mom's been really ill since last week. Really, really, really ill. She's doing better, but she has a long way to go. So I absolutely did nothing with firearms except decide not to carry in Virginia, even though I have a permit to do so, mainly because we're going to be in and out of a hospital and ICU, and I did not want the hassle of that. And if you guys can, just say prayers, or if you're not religious type, just send good wishes to my mom for improved health, and that's what I asked for. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Okay, now Zane's up, and he might have actually done something. So,
I did. I shot a little bit Sunday. So it doesn't get cold very often down here. So anytime it does, if it's one of those 4 days where I actually have a sweatshirt on, I try to go to the range at the beginning of my day because I'm not used to clearing a heavy cover garment. So on my way out, I just stopped by my range and ran a couple drills. I shot a 284 on super test from concealment, which 285 has kind of been my goal. So kind of was upset that I missed it by 1 point, but oh well, I got to slow down from the 15.
Yeah, gives you something to strive for.
But great drill to run, especially cold. If you guys have never run it, it's a really, really fun drill, and it's pretty good representation of how you would perform. I run it from concealment. It's typically shot from the low ready though. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's it.
I didn't actually get any shooting done. I did just for Zane. I'm kind of having to do this. I traded some stuff for an upper, and if you see this little thing on here, it is a 9mm upper. This is the handguard I reviewed last week or the week before that I stuck on it, but so now I have that I have to do something with so I can have some sort of 9mm carbine, see what it's all about. And we got in some, because, you know, we need to compare them to the night vision sights. We got some of the new XS sight F8 night sights in for review. Those came in, so that's pretty cool there. And that's pretty much the extent of what I actually did in firearms. And
those XS sights, are they the big dot type or are they like a regular sight?
They're in between. They have a regular rear sight, and they use the dot over dot for the tritium, but the rear is normal. the front is a lot like the night vision one. I don't know if you can see it through. I'll see if I can get a decent picture through the package. If I can arrange it so that you can't really kind of tell, but you can kind of see
it.
You can see that orange dot in the width. These are for Glocks, so. But we'll see when I get a slide in. We'll put those on them and do a review on those. So, yeah, they're not their standard like super huge dot with their little like I don't know V shape or whatever. They're their new, they're F8s, but that's because it's a dot over dot tritium. But they have a regular rear, which is pretty wide. So I'm thinking I might like them. You probably won't be able to see. You can kind of see the width of the rear. And I like a lot of light on both sides of my front sight post, so we'll hope I've
been looking at XS. I've been looking at the XS sights to put on a shotgun, actually, believe it or not. XS doesn't have the best reputation among the quote-unquote tactical community, but their shotgun sights are come pretty highly recommended from some people, so I think I'm gonna get a set and try them out.
Right.
Yeah, you mean James Yeager loves them.
Well, yes, James Yeager does love XS sights, and
I know that's your boy.
I've
never met James Yeager.
His channeling is Inner Yeagerson.
I've never met James Yeager. I'm sure he's a very nice fellow.
Yeah,
James Yeager is a nice guy. I've met him twice.
See,
I heard he's great when he's not on YouTube too. When he's not in front of a camera.
Well, he's not on YouTube. That's a thing right now.
Yeah.
What? Oh, I haven't paid attention to that crap. I don't care. I honestly don't care.
He was banned from that and Facebook or something.
Poor baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the part where we say that the opinions expressed on the show are those of the individual contributors and not necessarily those of the Firearms Radio Network?
And/or their
employers.
There we go.
Yes, we found something for Rob to do.
Yeah. I love you too, Chad.
You mean besides?
I'm going to put this. I'm putting that in the show notes for next time. Rob says.
You mean Rob did something else besides make us all look handsome and smart compared to him?
Well, he's got to do something.
Friends.
Sorry,
I
Rob,
love
we
you
just
too,
got it.
guys. With friends like you, I need no enemies.
Friends.
Exactly. Well, we'll move on to the announcements now. Now that we concluded that we're all friends in quotation marks, bandwidth sponsor is our buddies at Patriot Patch Co. because of course they make all the coolest patches. The only new patch for pre-order that I saw over there was the tactical stocking one. So, and then we have the patch of the month. Tis the season with Santa.
Well, this year Ryan did it right. He gave Santa mittens. Last year he gave him 4 fingers on each hand.
Right, but see, because he gave him mittens, he can't actually pull the trigger.
That's true. So Santa can't shoot the gun he's got. No, he can use his thumb, I guess.
Yeah, he's got to kind of thumb it, but that's kind of odd.
Yeah. So, hey, we get to critique Ryan's patches.
What? We're
critiquing Ryan's patch design.
That's right. I think so. A friend of mine already said something about it on like Instagram or something about how Santa going to pull the trigger with those mittens. Maybe they're the hunting type that, flip up so you got your fingertips.
Yeah, that might be true.
Maybe it has a winter trigger and it has a flip down winter trigger.
Yeah. Or those ones that they made that are like this long with the weird trigger guard you can put like your whole hand on. We have a listener support program. You can go to the firearmsradio.tv/pledge gun gear review podcast if you want to support us, or any of the other shows. You can just leave off the gun gear review podcast and get there. If you're shopping Amazon, please use the firearmsradio.tv Amazon link. It gives the whole crew bandwidth money and stuff, I guess, so that we can do cool things like go to SHOT Show or something like that. If you are buying anything at Black Bag Resources and want to donate it all to Tony and his 2A free diversity shoot, you can use the code Simon Says Train, and all of it will be donated to Tony. We do not have a product review this week because, well, I know Zane's told me he has a small one if we needed a filler one, and I didn't really feel like calling him or texting him and saying, hey, Zane, you really want to do this? So we have 3 products in the product spotlight tonight. First off is the Springfield M1A loaded in 6.5 Creedmoor, which I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you probably heard all about it already. So we'll go into what it is, which, as everybody knows, it's an M1A. It's got a 22-inch medium weight stainless steel barrel. It's match grade, 4-groove, 1 and 8 right hand twist. It's got a 062 front sight post with a 520 aperture rear or 0.052 rear. Mainly, that's a pretty good setup if you're shooting open sights. It's got their standard 2-stage national match trigger, which is 4.5 to 5 pounds. It's pretty nice. It says it's a true 1,000-yard rifle. It says especially when paired with the Springfield Armory scope mount, which I would recommend others, but that's just my opinion. Specs, the whole thing in length is 45 to 46 and a quarter, depending on which version you get or if you adjust the stock. We already went over the sight, the barrel, and it weighs in at 11.4 pounds with an empty magazine. Okay, don't keel over, Tony. I mean, that's pretty heavy. It does have a precision adjustable stock. It's got a pretty nice stock on it. You can get, they do make a standard composite stock one, but as of right now, it doesn't look like a wood one. You can get it in basically black or FDE. The MSRP is $2,045. And I am going to start with what I think of the 6.5 Creedmoor in an M1A. I really like the M1A platform, but I don't think it's the right platform for a 6.5 Creedmoor. That's my opinion, so I'm going to say that. And I would worry, I know the regular M1As in a 308, you have to run special powders or limited bullet weights because of the operating rods that they have in them. You can bend them if you're running too heavy of bullets or I think too fast a powder, if I remember correctly. Somebody will probably write hate mail to me and tell me wrong. But so I would worry about the load selection that you can use in the 6.5 Creedmoor. Is it similar to the 308 or are you kind of limited by certain bullet weights? That's my opinion. Besides that, I think it looks cool. I like the M1A. I'd still buy a 308 one. Next.
Ditto.
Yeah, I'm actually not a fan of the M1A platform, and I don't think it's the right platform for a 6.5 Creedmoor.
See?
I on the
Well,
other
at least
hand,
we're all in. Uh-oh.
You got to be careful though, because 3 months from now we might have somebody posting a negative comments about this review on Facebook. So we got to be real careful.
Yeah.
What we
No,
say.
listen, Diamondback Boy wants one of these.
Hey, all I'm
my
going to
thing is this
say,
with
no, hold on, Tony. Every M1A built by Springfield that I've ever seen is 100 times better than the Diamondback DB10 or whatever in 6.5 Creedmoor that I looked at the gun store.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Tony.
We all somehow guessed that Diamondback wasn't going to be spectacular with what they did, and too bad, so sad. Whatever. Okay. According to me and my feelings about the M1A, I love the national match. It was just a cool idea. Um, but it's built for iron sights. That's what the national match sights are. Um, putting a scope on it and doing the whole 1,000-yard 6.5 Creedmoor thing. I think there's better rifles you can do it with. I really do. But if that's your thing, if you like M1As, if you like the M14, you dig that. This is it's flatter shooting than a 308. But more than likely, if you're one of those people that shoot 308 out of an M1A, you've got your load down. You know what you're shooting. You've worked this all out. You've worked it all out with your optic, and you're going to start all over again with the 6.5 Creedmoor. So if you want that, cool, great. I don't know if it'll make a big difference. I don't know. You tell me, Zane. When you're using iron sights, if you're just going to use iron sights, what's the advantage? Because out to 500 yards, the 6.5 and the 308 are the same thing, really. There's not that much of a difference. I mean, how far out? I thought it was 600 yards they shoot national match rounds with iron sights.
Well, but don't they shoot them? Don't they shoot like at Camp Perry? Don't they have like 1,000-yard iron sight matches also?
I don't know, but I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I read or heard or saw or something the other day, a very interesting point, and I have no idea how true it is. But basically, it was that the 6.5 Creedmoor is essentially a 270, just with a little bit better wind drift.
I mean, the 6.5 has better bullet.
It's got pretty good
yeah.
bullet selection. There's good bullet selection with it now as it's becoming popular.
Yes.
And
it has a better bullet coefficient than 308. My thing is this: it is better for 1,000-yard shooting. If you're gonna do it, cool.
Right.
Do it cool. Are there better platforms? I hate that word. Are there better rifles? Yes. But if this is your thing, do it. Would I do it? Heck no. Truthfully, with as accurate, I don't have a 1,000-yard range to shoot. I'd rather have a SOCOM 16 or a Scout Squad. Those are my two M1s.
I feel like Springfield's had a lot of bad ideas lately. Is it just me?
What, you mean like coming out with a hammer-fired gun?
Right. Like let's put a hammer on our XD line of pistols and let's just huge. Remember the Saint marketing campaign? Like they
did that for
years. Let's be late to the party with the Saint.
I feel like they're like in a competition with Remington to like who can release like the dumbest stuff.
When it comes to this,
like Remington's like, oh, check it out, mag-fed 870, and Springfield's like, oh yeah, 6.5 M1A. Like, come on, guys. Like, what are we doing?
I was saving.
They're trying to do it. Me too. Hey, look, you can do that. Well, I can do that 6.5 Creedmoor than the M1A. Me too. I can do this too. Here's the bottom line: if you're looking to do something out to 1,000 yards, get a Ruger Precision. It's like $1,400, and you can get out to 1,500 yards with that all day long.
Can't argue with anything.
Yeah, and
I'd be inclined to agree with that.
The only reason.
Not only that, but this is what, $2,200, $2,300 or something.
2,000.
You could drop a decent scope on that for the same price. You get Ruger Precision rings and a decent scope for the same price as this thing.
And you got to remember that this is an M1A, so to buy a decent scope mount, it's $200. I mean, you're not gonna. It's not just your standard. Oh, let's just bolt rings on it. You have to buy a decent scope mount, and then buy rings and a scope.
You're gonna have to put in work. Mike, one of the YouTube channel I think I used to watch, cool dude, Marine Corps Staff Sergeant, and he built his M1A national match to the M21 designation.
The
sniper's rifle designation, and he built that, and he's been shooting it for years. I think his Mike 0331 is his YouTube channel, and you can watch all the work that goes into that and goes into shooting that well. And now you have to do it all over again with a 6.5. Do it if you want to do it, but truthfully, the in my opinion, the cool part about an M1A is that it's an M14 and shoots 308. Once you change the caliber, I might as well go with something else. And a semi-auto AR-10 version of 6.5 makes more sense because there is no GI issue AR-10.
Right.
So now I have a lighter rifle, probably more accurate, easier to shoot, drop-in parts that works with AR-15 drop-in parts.
This is kind of like the 45 gap. You had something good going. Why do you want to mess it up?
And like Tony was saying.
Oh, I'm sorry, Zane. I picked on your gap.
I don't like 45 gap. It's cool.
If you take, like Tony was saying, if you want a 6.5 Creedmoor, I'm with Tony. Get one in the AR-10 platform, so to speak, because it's going to be easier to make more accurate if you would like. It's going to be less expensive to mount a scope to. It's going to, okay, here's something that if you're going to suppress it, it is going to do a better job being suppressed than an M1A will, because an M1A is not a good rifle to suppress because of the way the gas system works. You're going to get sound from the gas escaping out of the gas system. And it's
I've
not
just never been a fan of the whole operating system, the whole platform. I know Tony hates that word, but I've just never been a fan of this whole rifle design. I just feel like there's better design rifles out there. And if you want 6.5, honestly, the AR-10 thing's great if you just got to have it in a gas gun. But
right,
that's what I mean.
I'd rather have it in a bolt gun. Personally.
No, I'm not even discussing that because you're right. I mean, it makes more sense. But if you gotta have a gas gun, it seems like putting it on the AR-10 makes more sense, or a different semi-auto that it's more accurate. It's easier to accurize.
Yes.
And
it's also worth mentioning, I think the only one of us here who does any kind of long-range shooting is Rob. So.
Yeah. And Rob is right. I mean, really, for this money, you can get a Ruger Precision and top it with $1,000 scope.
Yeah.
And still be well ahead of the game. You'll be able to use almost every AR-15 part, pistol grip, buttstock, for it, all that you can swap out. And trigger, right? Trigger? What's trigger? No, it uses
it comes with a really good trigger. Why would you want to mess with it? I mean,
trigger.
Yeah. Well, there's a custom trigger, but I mean, the trigger is like 2 pounds or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's wicked light.
So, I'm
kind of. It's got one of those buttstocks that's adjustable for cheap rise and length of pull. Right. So I mean, it's I mean, I've seen people take the supplied buttstock off there, put a Magpul buttstock on it, and I go, why? But whatever.
Yeah, any, and like this, yes, it's adjustable, but you're not going to be able to stick just a AR stock on it if you would like. Now I'm going to answer one of Zane's questions about the M1A in 308. Besides liking, I like the platform, not because it's the most accurate, but it has something to do with it's kind of like a 1911 with the recoil impulse. Excuse me. The M1A has a different recoil impulse, and it's kind of cool. It just shoots different, and that's one of the reasons I like the M1A. Besides, it's an M14 copy.
Yeah, it does,
and that's why that's just why I like it. But I don't really see the reason for 6.5 Creedmoor. But I could see if you just kind of want it because you do like the platform like I do, and say, hey, oh, let's try it in 6.5 Creedmoor. Okay. If I had tons of extra money sitting around, I'd go buy one in 6.5 Creedmoor just to try it out. Something to tinker with and try out.
True. I mean, that's the only reason I like the M1 is because I think it just looks cool in almost all the configurations. And again, just a fan of the M14, so it's all old school. It doesn't mean it's better than anything. I mean, truthfully, lighter, again, AR-10 from almost anybody except Diamondback. I'd use.
Oh. How's that pop song go? Haters gonna hate. Something like that.
Oh, you're right about that.
Okay. Well, I think at least they can't say we said complete bad things about it. We'll hang that hat up and go on to something that's kind of the complete other end, not price wise, but caliber wise. We will go on to the Vudoo Gunworks Ravage.
Because Chad thinks for multi-millionaires they can afford $2,000 guns.
Well, that's not like they're that much higher priced than a lot of guns. I mean, it's not a $5,000. What was our Switch last week? $4,000.
The proof research thing, which actually I don't know if you noticed, but I just added in the show notes a section of listener feedback from that I got emailed directly to me.
Oh,
so you can read it. You can read it if you want, or or not.
Oh,
but I put it in the show notes.
Is it somebody you know?
It's somebody we all kind of know. It's not Ed.
Okay. It's not Ed. Okay, and it's not who's Sean's buddy? Tony knows.
Oh.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
I'll read it later. So we're going on to the Ravage by Vudoo Gunworks, and that Vudoo is spelled Vudoo. And what we have here is a 22 long rifle. Basically, it's either a trainer for you or for some of the new PRS style 22 matches that some places, I guess, are putting on. It's basically a purpose-built target rifle sub MOA. It's got their patented V22 rimfire action. It is controlled feed for a 22, which is kind of rare. The barrel's made of 416 stainless. It is single point cut, and you can get it in 16, 18, or 20 inches with a kukri contour, which I don't know what kind of contour that is, but somebody probably does. And it looks like you can get it.
It's heavy barrel. That's all it means.
Looks like a bull barrel.
Right. Looks like you can get it threaded or non-threaded, it looks like. They don't really say that in here, but that's what it looks like. Oh, I guess they do down here. It comes with a Timney trigger set at 2.5 pounds. The stock is a Renegade stock it's custom designed by the folks at Graybow Stocks. I think a couple years ago we discussed the Graybow Stocks. They're a fiberglass style stock. It's a pretty nice looking stock, pretty durable from what it looks like. They use a special patented Vudoo mag, and it is in Accuracy International format, so it's an AI probably magazine style with a 10-round capacity. So it looks kind of strange for a 22 because it's the full width of a standard AI platform mag. You can get it in black, OD green, or tan. It only weighs 8.5 pounds, so it's a little lighter than that M1A. MSRP on it is $2,295. Let's see if I missed anything here. You get to choose all this stuff. It says they have more magazines capacity, maybe, if you like it. It didn't quite say. I couldn't see how much the magazines cost. It didn't seem to find that. You can...
Probably a lot.
Yeah. It has a one-piece design. Located Picatinny scope base. You can get 20, 25, or 30 MOA available. So you can do that. I guess if you're into this style competition or you're super into rimfires, this might be a great rifle. They are really neat looking.
This is a good looking rifle. This is a really
good looking rifle.
I don't know if it's $2,200 looking good, but it's a good looking rifle.
And right. And that's the thing is, I'm sure it's accurate. I mean, they say it's got a MOA accuracy guarantee, which, and it's got a cut rifled barrel, which, is going to be good. So besides it looking nice, if you have a PRS rifle that is basically exactly like it, This would be a perfect trainer for it. Or
I wish
if
it
you're
came
shooting-
integrally suppressed.
You know,
That's what I wish.
hey, you know, maybe someday you can get that.
That would be cool. This rifle with an integral suppressor would be,
For that price would be
for that
worth it.
price, would be nice.
They also
Yeah, but you
this
gotta wait a year to get the darn thing out of an NFA jail.
That's okay.
Silencer weights are coming down a little bit. Not a lot, but they're coming down slowly but surely.
yes, but I kind of liked it and said, "Hey, this is a nice looking rifle." I looked at they make a few other rimfires, basically same action, you know, different stocks. I just happened to throw this one in there because I was like, this one's pretty cool looking. It's not a chassis gun. It's a, you know, more of your, what is it, the bolt action 700 sniper style stock. What do you guys think? Besides the price?
Like I said, it's a good looking rifle. It's not for me. But
okay. For the price, I don't care for it. I mean, I have a Tactical Solutions 1022 semi-automatic rifle that I can hit a tennis ball at 100 yards with the crappy $50 scope. I mean, and that you're only going to pay like $700-800 for. I think I picked mine up for $600 used. Dropped the scope on there and took it to the range and, you know, shooting tennis balls at 100 yards. So, I mean, I don't know. Is $2,200 a good? I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Just because it's 22 doesn't mean it's a plinking rifle. And the price should show you it's not just set up for plinking. It is for TRS. It's for TRS training. But again, it comes in. It's a niche rifle. Because truthfully, there's a buttload of stuff I can use to plink at 100 yards with a 22 that cost a fraction of this.
Yeah, this is for dudes looking to shoot one whole groups with 22 at 100 yards.
At 100 yards with match ammo, with match 22 ammo that they've hand selected. So yeah, it's a totally different world. Would I do this if I had some lottery money that I won? Probably still no.
No.
Because no, I could care less about this thing. I'd rather do it with something that's just.
Can you say something full auto, preferably belt fed?
I don't know, man. I'm just looking at it going, okay, yeah, it looks good. So what? I mean, it's not my thing. It is not my thing. I mean, I have a CZ75 Ultra Match. CZ75. It's not CZ75. CZ455 Ultra Match. That can do pretty darn good. And that's what I use.
And you're right. When people get like Olympic level shooting and those high quality, high performance shooting stuff, yeah, I mean they'll spend thousands of dollars for a 22 rifle that can drill a quarter MOA hole at 100 yards. You know.
Well, I'll throw this out here for you guys. For comparison, you can get the CZ455 Varmint Precision Trainer, which, you know, it's the CZ with their magazine, you know, is MSRP on it is like $940. And, you know, the weight's about the same, different trigger, but you guys get it. So, you know, it's a little higher priced. I don't know what they'll actually come in it for the Vudoo Gunworks.
Just look at it this way, though. The first 500 people to order this rifle get it for $100 off.
Right.
That changes everything. You know what? I totally apologize.
Hey, you know, I'm just pointing out a reason to buy it. You know,
I'm gonna point out something and just be the guy that's not nice today. So in a year, should we come back and see if it still says first 500 guns?
Yeah.
Yeah. Say that 5 years from now.
It will still say that. Like I get it. You have to value your own work, but I think you'll be standing alone there unless it's just people that do this, and I still think it's going to be a small group. Again,
this is definitely a niche market.
A lot of us forget, no matter where you're at, even gun people, that you're small. It's a small part of society. and now you're getting into a small part of a small part. You know what I mean? It just keeps narrowing it down to, yeah, not many people are interested in this.
Yep. I do wish them luck though, because I think they have some cool designs and cool ideas. So, hopefully they'll make it. Hopefully the small part of the small part of the small market will buy enough of these to get the price down for us. That's what I'm hoping.
And keep that barrel profile.
I
suppress it. That's what they need to do.
Oh,
See, we're coming up with great ideas.
And by the way, work on the naming of this stuff. The kukri is your bull barrel, and I'm like, okay, so you went with a knife, and then like the next one is not a knife; it's something else, and then like the other barrel is like a specter. I'm like, what? You didn't even stay consistent. Like, if you're gonna name your barrels after knives, then name your barrels after knives. Like the big heavyweight bull barrel is named the kukri, a big heavyweight knife, and then you went away from the naming practice of your own stuff.
Hey, maybe they asked somebody else at the factory, what should we name this? And they came up with something else.
Yeah, maybe it was a drawing. and the top 3 names got to name the different barrels.
Maybe. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so we kind of looks like it's looking to be a fairly short show tonight. Which
yeah, the next one sucks too. All right, we're done. Hey, thanks guys.
No, it doesn't.
DiversityShoot.com. It's a lot. GoFundMe. Blah blah.
Don't listen to Tony. Nope, we're not leaving yet. Up next is something for the 3-gun shooters. Okay, you got it.
What the heck does he want?
A bonus
pay, and because he gets. It's a percentage of his base pay, so he doesn't get anything.
Oh, okay.
Next up it's a shot shell caddy loader. Well, it's really just the caddy for basically 3-gun competitions. It is from England, I think, is where they said it was from.
Oh, bloody good.
I put this one in there just because the picture showed they have a few different amounts. Like this is the EZ20 next gen shot shell holder. And basically they show different length shot shells in here. That's why I put the 21 in. MSRP is $298, which, if you only want a 10, it's a little cheaper, etc. Basically, it's a self-adjusting, rapid loading shot shell rig that allows different length shot shells. A lot of them are the same, or you can only fit 2 3/4. Well, this you can have 2 3/4, then you could have 3-inch right next to it. So by grabbing, because with the 3-gun crowd, from what I hear, I still can't do this, so that tells you anything. They either load 2 or load 4, typically load 4, all at once. They grab 4 off of their shell caddies and then shove them in the shotgun. It's pretty cool to watch, so go look a video up if you don't know what we're talking about. Basically, they smoothed out the top shell grab area, and it looks like it's like a spring-loaded system instead of a lot of them have kind of a C-clip that the shot shell goes in. This looks like a spring-loaded system. It's got stainless springs, protected housing, supposedly streamlined. I don't know how streamlined it is, but it's got a rear adjustment to tweak the spring sweet spot depending on your ammo of choice and how much tension you want to rip the ammo out with. It's got a tech lock attachment or Velcro if you want to Velcro it to something. I'd probably recommend using the tech lock. It looks like anodized because it's anodized coating. It looks like also it sticks out far enough that you have plenty of room to get your hand behind the shells to grab them, which I thought was pretty cool. It looks kind of like it's somewhat flexible, so each 4 shot shell section kind of bends on its little belt. And that's about all we know, but I thought it was kind of a cool little thing for 3-gun shooters. I guess if you wanted to carry that many shot shells and weren't a 3-gun shooter, you could do that too. Okay, so the rest of us, The rest of us non-3-gun shooters, and we should probably exclude Zane because he just loaded up with reduced recoil stuff.
I don't like shotguns
Man, you
anyway.
got just trashed by the old man. Come on.
No,
I would be worried with this thing. It said it's adjustable tension on the spring, so that's, I guess, to combat this. But I would be worried that during movement, that bottom spring thing is going to jar down, and your shotgun shells are going to fly all over the deck. I don't know. Maybe they figured that out. I don't shoot 3-gun. I don't do the whole load 2, load 4 thing because, again, I don't have a loading gate or anything like that. I guess it's cool, but again, I don't shoot 3-gun, so we're kind of out of my lane, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're out of most of ours lane, but
Yeah,
I figured we still need to throw these products in here so people know about them. That's kind of more so my thought on it. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, it looks interesting, but you know.
Yeah, I went on a hunt for this. I actually looked it up. I checked out the manufacturer's video. I checked out other videos of people loading from these and how they load. And I also checked out how you put tension on these. And yeah, no, they've thought about obviously how much tension you put on it, how to keep it in place. It's actually built that you can actually go prone with this and not you lose a shell because the shells won't hit the ground. So it's designed for active 3-gun running and gunning. So yeah, the shells won't pop out. It's set up, it's built off so you can get your fingers all the way around the shells so you can pull off 2 or 4 and just load it. I just went over everything I could find on this, and it seems to be pretty good kit, but I mean, it's $300. And again, it goes into 3-gun and why actually 3-gun is losing popularity as it goes on because all of this equipment is so specialized that some people are going, one, shotgun really does suck. Shotgun is fun to do when you're shooting clays and you're walking around and, you have time between when the clays fly out. But when you're trying to run a gun fast, and Sean and I have ran classes like this, and we've also ran clinics, keeping a shotgun topped up is exhausting. And now to do it when you need like a $300 piece of equipment and you have to learn the technique of 2 and 4 shell loading, 3-gun is falling off because of it. I mean,
I've heard that. I've heard many people tell me they would, and I'm included in this, would shoot 3-gun if it basically wasn't who can load a shotgun the fastest.
If it was 2-gun, so to speak.
I would shoot 2 pistol and rifle all
Well, they
day
do
long.
2-gun
pistol
rifle.
2-gun is growing, 3-gun is falling off.
Yeah.
Because all 3-gun is who can load a shotgun faster. Really? Yep. I mean,
and it
depending
got
on the
into
stage.
Yeah.
So,
the other thing, I looked it up just because you guys were yakking. Their 8 version one, the one that holds 8 shells, is $119 US. So,
yeah. So they said this is Velcro. You can hook and loop it or Velcro it. I'm wondering, is that designed to be used on the side of the receiver, maybe to load similar like you would a side saddle?
No.
Why? Then what would the?
It's because
that makes sense to me.
Why? In 3-gun, a lot of times they put on stuff what they want for that particular stage. So if there's a stage that only has like, say 10 shotgun targets, they don't need to slap on 20 reloads for a shotgun. So they'll take it off. That's why the tech lock and easy on off things are good, because if there's a heavy pistol stage, they'll put more pistol pouches on. And it looks like these guys also make like a huge Velcro belt, like the opposite side that you can Velcro these things to.
All right.
Yeah. The thing is, this whole thing is set up for 3-gun. I don't know 3-gun at all. I just know shotgun stuff is really expensive and you can't use it anywhere else. You don't even want it on a defensive shotgun. You know what I mean? When they like make the gates bigger and every loading gate bigger and just do all kinds of crazy stuff to your shotgun that you can only use for 3-gun. I mean, same thing with the pistol and the rifle, but still, it's like now I have like a really, really expensive shotgun that can only be used for one thing, and all the equipment can only be used for one thing. I'm going to throw my old guy hat on here and go, three gun started out Soldier of Fortune and Soldier of Fortune
Yeah.
magazine doing three gun in Las Vegas. And
Well,
it was actually
all the games,
practice.
quote unquote games. I don't want anyone to get mad at
Yeah.
me, but the gun games started out in some sort of a quote unquote real world defensive thing, and they kind of devolved, in my opinion, but
Yep.
evolved into a legit game.
Hey, you know what we need to do? We need to go participate in a 3-gun match, and each of us just bring like an over/under shotgun.
Well, they have the heavy matches where you have to shoot like
A
like
pump
1911.
Go out there when everybody else is running the race guns, run an over/under shotgun.
Well, no.
Load that stage down.
What heavy metal is 12 gauge pump action shotgun, 45 ACP pistol, and a 7.6
battle
and
rifle,
a 308 rifle. Yeah, and a battle rifle, and that's heavy metal. But what's really happening is people are tired of the arms race. And
so is the M1A and 6.5? Could you use that in heavy metal?
I don't think you can. I think it has to be a 30 cal.
It's a battle. It's not a battle rifle, and that's something else. One of the guys put it in the comment section when I posted this. It's like it has to be over 30 cal to be a battle rifle, and if the M1A is not 30 cal, then what's the point?
It's not a battle rifle then.
And this shotgun caddy is only good for, again, people who run 3-gun, and it's a sport that's dying out because of shotgun.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll send him a thing, see if I can get one. Not for 3-gun, but I'll just, how when you go shoot like trap or something, you take the little thing, you just strap on your like fanny pack type thing, and you put a box of shells in it.
Yep.
I'll get one of these, and I'll just put all 25 shells in it instead of in a box. See, and then you just grab 2 and you're good to go.
That's funny because I use my dump. I'm going to start using my dump pouch for that. It's already set up on my harness.
I got an old school bandolier.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice,
okay.
Nice Pancho Villa.
Well, yeah. Now we talked about that. Oh wait, here you guys go. I'm just going to throw this out there. We talked about the 20. They make a 28 shell one.
Oh, okay.
That's so that one you can get through all of your trap. So
can you imagine watching that? Imagine watching that on a 3-gun, just that shotgun heavy of a match.
I think that would be like a shotgun only stage. But what I want to know is
doing 2 rounds, 2 rounds, 2 rounds. You wouldn't have room for any other magazines.
Exactly.
On your belt.
Well, I think with that, I think the deal is if I were using that, see, I'd need the 28 for like a 12 round reload because all the rest of them I'm going to knock off and they're going flying.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And I guess thanks to Zane, we actually are into the listener feedback.
Yay!
Yeah, and we have feedback. And I was reading it because it makes sense to me. And yes, we did miss it. It says
it's actually a good point.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it. I mean, it makes perfect sense once you read it. So I'll go on here. It says, on the last Firearms Insider podcast, you guys were discussing the proof research rifle, and I think we missed an important point that the rifle is relevant. Okay, here's why. For competitive shooters like those in the PRS, barrels need to be placed approximately annually and sometimes sooner to maintain accuracy. It's not unusual for those shooters to already be running rifles that are several $1,000s, and combining a Remington 700 style action with a Savage style barrel gives the shooter a combination of parts availability ease without sending the gun to a gunsmith, however long their backlog is to get to the gun back. The shooter can simply replace the barrel, headspace it, and be ready to go later that day or the next day. It allows them to keep practicing and competing without having to go to a backup gun. I just thought I'd throw in my 2 cents. Consider next time a topic like that comes up. Kenny. Well, I'm going to say thank you very much, Kenny, because I totally did not think about that, even though somewhere in my mind I knew that people who are into the PRS matches and stuff, a lot of times will replace their barrel every year.
Yeah.
Actually,
I mean,
I
I don't think
didn't-
it's. Go ahead, Tony.
I didn't know that at all. And thank you for actually telling me something that's new to me, and it really makes sense. I mean, I guess when you shoot a high volume, and also barrels wear out, totally makes sense. But again, we're just talking about a really small
Well, I mean,
group of people. But yeah, it
I
makes
think
sense.
the marketing, though, everything in the marketing said they were looking to have a receiver that you could do quick barrel changes on. I didn't see
And change
anything about,
caliber.
yeah, to change caliber, change barrels. That was my gripe. Changing barrels is cool, but I mean, changing calibers. And the other thing too is, I mean, if you're doing precision rifle, okay, fine. You take the barrel off, you put a new barrel on. You're going to take it back to the range, re-zero it, and have a few hours at the range to make sure you got the rifle dialed in the way you want it. But I just didn't like that whole swap caliber thing.
Yeah, if you're shooting a real barrel burning cartridge, I can see how that would be relevant. I don't think like with 308 that's a thing, but if you're shooting like especially like was it 6mm Creedmoor that burns barrels, and I don't know if I can't remember if they offer that, but I'm sure eventually they will. Yeah, good point. Yeah, Kenny emailed me that, and I was like, I'll throw that in show notes.
Yeah, that was worth it because, hey, thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it. Tony, it's your.
Yep.
Go, Tony.
All right. Yeah. You guys know about the Second is for Everyone diversity shoot built to break.
No, tell me about it.
You suck. It's a workshop that I run actually to bring people of all backgrounds into the Second Amendment community. It's also directed at gun owners already who aren't politically active, and I introduce you to firearms groups, Second Amendment advocacy groups that you might not have heard of. If you're one of those people that run around poo-pooing NRA, fine. I have local groups that you can check out. My problem with people that poo-poo the NRA is usually they don't join anything else. They just sit there and complain and whine. Well, I'm bringing you people that actually do something on the local level. So I'll introduce you to them. I'll also introduce you to the NRA ILA, which is totally different than LaPierre's NRA. And they actually participate and get in on the local level. That's the purpose of what I do. So you can help us out by going to our GoFundMe and donate there. You can go to our website, diversityshoot.com, and see some pictures of what we do there, or even follow us on Facebook at The Second is for Everyone. And you can also check out Simon Says Train and on Facebook and Instagram. What I try to do is really put out there in social media what we do, the people we help out from all backgrounds. I'm just trying to grow the Second Amendment without pooping on people, because really the only way the Second Amendment is going to survive is if we grow. And it has to be more than the old guys. It has to be a new generation of people. It has to be a diverse group of people that cross all kinds of political lines. Just when the Second Amendment is threatened, all of a sudden we need to come together and push to get some legislation passed that we're in favor of and crush the stuff we're not in favor of. The only way we're going to keep this going is to actually be politically active. And that's what I hope to get the message across, no matter what your background, political party, sexuality, or anything else. And thanks for the time. As always, appreciate being on the show and being able to bring this to you every week. Thank you, guys.
Well, Tony, remember, you do make this the largest podcast on the Firearms Radio Network.
Understand, I'm the largest trainer in America, bar none.
Pound for pound.
Pound for pound, I'm the largest trainer in America.
That's right. We love you, Tony. So we're on to the wrap up. Send questions, comments, or feedback to gungearreview@gmail.com, or just send it to Zane, I guess, and he'll put it in the show notes.
That works.
Subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. It helps us in the iTunes algorithm or something. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at www.firearmsradio.tv. Were you on a show last week, Zane?
I was on This Week in Guns last week.
Out this week in Guns. You can hear the complain about stuff over there. Check us out on Facebook at / whatever it is, Firearms Insider. Follow us at Firearms Insider on Instagram, and we are out.
Bye, Felicia.